Hey guys, you're listening to What About Me, where I, along with my guests, take a deep dive into those personal struggles and the internal dialogue that is stopping you from doing the very thing that would cause you to have even more success, more money, more relationship, and more abundance in your life. I'm Keisha Dixon, the tapping queen, transformational wealth coach, creator of the Monetize Your Mind success system and the Visibility Vixen success system. Thank you all for joining me today as I fly solo. I think this is the first episode that I haven't brought on a guest, and I'm excited that you're here with me today. Not just for me, but also for you and what this episode will mean for you, because today we're going to be talking about visibility and the growth that visibility will give to your business and the personal growth and confidence you'll experience by becoming more visible online as your authentic and powerful self. And during our time together today, during this episode, you're going to receive laser-focused clarity on what is currently blocking you from being visible online, and it's keeping you playing small. And I'm going to jam-pack as much as I can today during this episode, during this time that we have together. And my goal is for you to leave this episode transformed with laser-focused clarity. So let me ask you something. Does this sound like you? When you think about showing up online, you start thinking thoughts like, oh, I'm just a small fish in a big ocean and I don't have a large enough following. Or maybe you're thinking, I'm just not expert yet. I'm not an expert yet, and I'm not quite sure what to say. Or perhaps you're afraid you'll stumble on your words. Maybe you're thinking, I just don't communicate well enough to be understood, and I can't seem to get my message across. And maybe you're secretly feeling jealous of those who have a large following and show up consistently online. Well, if any of that resonates, then you are absolutely in the right place. Some of you may already know my story, right? I'm a single mother of 6, grandmother of 3. I worked as a senior manager in a corporate law firm for 33 years, and I made my successful exit last year and opened up my practice as a transformational wealth coach. And for years, I tell everybody I've been a self-proclaimed personal development junkie, even before I became a transformational wealth coach. What you may not know about me is I grew up in a household with a parent who was mentally ill. And I found my safe place standing in the background, standing there unseen, shy, carefully observant. That's what kept me safe. And those characteristics developed over the years until I became a fully fledged, socially awkward, shy woman who would do anything, and I mean anything, to stay out of the spotlight. And for all intents and purposes, that worked for me. I found 6-figure success in my corporate career. But I always felt that I wanted more. I really wanted to help more people. Because I was a personal development junkie, years ago, I worked with a life coach for about a year, right? Phenomenal woman. And I'll never forget, during one of our sessions, she gave me an assignment. On the surface, it seemed like a very simple assignment. And that assignment was this: to schedule a date, to pull out my calendar and schedule a date, place it in my calendar, to do a live teaching on Periscope on the subject matter of my choosing. And I was frozen in fear. It was almost as if I was having an outer body experience. I could hear myself yesing her to death. I could see myself setting a date and yesing my coach and nodding in agreement. I even threw out a calendar date and penciled it in. The whole time, though, the entire time, everything inside of me was screaming, no, no, there was no way I was ever going to do a live on Periscope. And I felt that resistance throughout my entire body. My head pounded. My heart was racing. And I immediately felt tension in my shoulders, and my neck muscles even clenched up. It felt like my body had physically been shoved into a brick wall time and time again. And secretly, I resented that she even asked me to do this. And so I did what came naturally to me. I yesed her to death. We hung up the phone, and then I quit. You heard me correctly. I quit. I suddenly quit being her client, even though we had worked together successfully for almost a year at that point. And not only that, I quit on my dream of helping others. And I went on with my life in my safe job that I didn't like without giving it a second thought. In that moment, I was enslaved to my vow of invisibility. Now, a vow of invisibility motivates you to keep your true self with all of your authenticity and your unique gifts invisible. And it drives you to project yourself to be someone who is more appropriate, someone who fits in, someone who reflects what other people want you to be, someone who makes an effort to please everyone else, to keep everyone else happy. Oh gosh, that was really my story. Someone who is overly modest about your value because people will just like you better if you don't showcase your talents. Is this resonating with anyone? And this vow of invisibility that I had, it was costing me. That's because self-doubt carries a cost. Taking a look at the cost of self-doubt really does take some courage, but I promise that I'm going to be a bringer of clarity today. And some of that clarity may be a little uncomfortable to look at. So let's just take a look at it. I'm going to ask you a question. Think about this. If your confidence and your courage was suddenly doubled, what would you be doing? How much would you be marketing yourself? What would your social media footprint look like? And how would you be showing up? What would your energy be like? What would your vibe, if I could sound a little woo-woo for a moment, what would your vibe be like? And just to guess, how much would you be earning with double the confidence? So what's the cost of exuding self-doubt? Because, being incredibly smart, successful women, being honest, sometimes we take ourselves down first. Sometimes we quit first. So here's my question for you. When you go into self-doubt, when you go into that, what about me, or even question or start to question, am I good enough? Am I going to have to prove myself? When you start thinking, who am I to show up? Is it safe for me to speak up? Do you think that's noticeable? Do you think that people pick up on unconscious or conscious cues? We've all seen people, right? We've all worked in companies that you can see from people's body language and from the way they look and how they check in with everybody, just from the way that they are, that they have a self-esteem issue. We've all seen that. But what about when we hide it really well? Are there unconscious clues that we, just being honest, doubt our value a little bit on the inside first? Doubt whether or not we can deliver. And does that cost us? You might be wondering, why is Keisha sitting here and talking about all of this inner stuff? Whether or not I doubt my value a little bit on the inside first. Well, because where does it show up? It shows up in how much you actually appear when you do go out and market yourself, or how much you're avoiding going out and marketing yourself, how much you're actually holding back. Being honest, we could be, you could be, I could be twice as visible. We could be putting ourselves out there twice as much, and we're not. This inner stuff that I'm talking about really turns directly into action. So I ask you, what costs us more money? I'm a transformational wealth coach. Of course, I'm going to bring money into the equation. I want you to think about women marketing themselves and what devastates our income more. What costs us more money? Nobody's really asking this question because they don't know how to make the change. You can change your inner level of confidence. You can reduce the self-doubt. You can dissolve the self-doubt. That's what I do for a living, and I watch it happen time and time again. But nobody asks this question because nobody has an answer, but I promise you there is an answer. There is a way to transform this. So here's my question for you. In fact, grab a piece of paper because this is a writer downer. You're going to want to write this down. What costs us more money? And I don't just mean money. I mean, what costs us devastating loss of income that should be in our pocket that's not? Is it the person who's boldly taking action and making mistakes? Maybe flubbing a presentation and making some mistakes, maybe having literature not show up at a workshop. Is it the person who's showing up boldly, making some mistakes? Or is it the person who's not showing up at all? See, this is the kind of thing, this is the question that keeps me awake at night. Unbelievable, smart, amazing, valuable women who are holding themselves back, and they know it, and they beat themselves up for it, and they don't change it. This is where I believe we should be spending all of our time. This inner work is where we should be spending all of our time, and this is what keeps me up at night, deepening my work in ways that creates for my clients the inner transformation that creates this person that is fearlessly and excitedly putting themselves out there. Not enough people are talking about this, and it's costing women and entrepreneurs millions. So let's talk about that. Why are we not showing up? You watch yourself not take the action you know you could be taking, and then you beat yourself up for it. Let's talk about why we're not showing up. So write this sentence down. My invisibility in my business or in my marketing costs me blank per year. Write down just a guess how much money your invisibility or you're not showing up online or you're not marketing yourself is costing you per year. Just write that down and breathe. I told you, this is going to take some courage, but that's my commitment to you. I told you I am going to be the bearer of clarity today. So what is this costing you? And why would I be so mean to have you write that down? Because it really is the first step. If you don't see it, you won't understand how much this is costing you. And now that you've seen it, you can't put that genie back in the bottle. This is the opportunity you have to make a brand new decision. Steve Maraboli from Life, the Truth, and Being Free, author of Life, the Truth, and Being Free, says, a lack of clarity could put the brakes on any journey to success. And here's an example I bring to my clients. You know, it's almost like someone who creates diabetes from their food choices and they go to the doctor, right? And the doctor says, here's your diabetes medicine. They take their medicine, they continue with their bad food choices, and they go on that way for 20 years and they're on medicine for the rest of their life. Versus a doctor who sits down with them and says, you really need to understand this. If you continue to eat like this, one day we're going to be amputating your foot. Pretty drastic analogy, but that's what I'm talking about. Clarity. Being really clear on what the cost is, not just putting a Band-Aid on it, but let's rip the Band-Aid off and let's get clear on what this is costing you. That's my commitment today. It's my responsibility today. And it takes courage for me to have you look at it in this way. That's a little uncomfortable for a few minutes, for something we need to have crystal clear, sparkling clarity about. So think about it. How much money have you spent on strategy, lots of strategy, but not really taken action? Or just taken the action that feels safe to take, that action that has you hiding behind your computer at home, like futzing with your website. If I could give you a way to take all of the money that you've already invested in programs to triple that investment, wouldn't you want it? My clients actually make more money in what they've already spent in years worth of programs and strategy. Why is that? Because suddenly they're exploding into action, and that starts with the inner work. So do you see why I want you to see what is actually stopping you from showing up so that we can do the inner work on it? So listen, let's take a deep breath and just really settle into your body. Relax your shoulders and just notice your feet on the floor. I'm going to ask you to close your eyes because we're going to visualize something, and it tends to work better when you close your eyes. So close your eyes and just imagine, or allow your mind to paint a picture, or just imagine that you're standing in a room. Now, if you work in a corporation, this room is filled with 30 people who are your boss, your peers, your boss's boss, or anyone who can directly affect your promotion or your salary. And if you're in business for yourself, this room is filled with your clients, your potential clients, or people who can help you expand your network by referring clients to you. And you're standing there, you're looking your best. Can you see yourself? Now, looking at that crowd of people, in this visualization, you say out loud, loud enough for the entire room to hear you, I am awesome at what I do, and I deserve to be well compensated for what I do. Okay. Open your eyes. What happened? How did you feel as you were saying that? And where in your body are you feeling that? That's what we call the mind-body connection. And how is the crowd reacting to you in this visualization? Are some people smiling and nodding at you in agreement with your stating out loud that you're awesome? That's awesome. I really want you right now, though, to focus in on the people who are not in agreement with you. What are they doing? How do their faces look? Is anyone turning their back on you? Are they ignoring you? How about you? Do you just want to run out of the room and hide? See, when we just did that quick visualization process, what you just saw, what you just projected onto that audience are all of your biggest fears and your inner skeptic, and how much you question yourself, and how safe or unsafe it feels for you to be visible. So if this visualization triggered like, oh, I want to run out of the room and hide fear or triggered shame and embarrassment when you said you're awesome or that you deserve to be well compensated. Or if it looked like the audience was skeptical or attacking you or ignoring you or not interested or they didn't like you, what you're seeing is how or why it's difficult for you to get up in front of a group of people on live video or at a networking event in person and really give your best, really offer your best, really teach your best, or even ask to get paid. And I know that you're not going to stand in front of a crowd or on a social media video live and say exactly, I'm awesome at this. But I also know, as a business person, every single time you talk anywhere, even if you're not technically making an offer at the end, you're showing yourself as someone who deserves to get paid well. Because if you're not, if you're up there and you're thinking, they're attacking me, they're skeptical, and people will laugh, they're judging me, what you're doing is you're consistently making yourself smaller. You're being a bit more invisible, and energetically, you're not saying you're awesome. What you're saying is, at best, maybe I'm medium. Yeah, I'm just medium. Because you know what? Medium feels more appropriate, doesn't it? Medium doesn't stand out. Medium doesn't break all the rules that say, don't be arrogant. Or who are you to act like you're better than anyone else? Or even everyone will think that you think you're better than everyone else. And that is a really strongly ingrained program. It is, and it's a program that came from our family, particularly the middle class and working class, that who do you think you are program. Don't you dare think you're better than anybody else. Or even that whole people who are spiritual, good people, right? Who don't put themselves above other people. But as a business person, if you can't stand there congruently in any discussion and have this energy of, I'm freaking awesome at what I do, then how can you possibly convey to people through your every word, your every look, the smile on your face, the energy that's beaming out of your body, your enthusiasm? None of that will get conveyed to people that you're awesome and that you deserve to be paid the highest in your field. And I'm guessing that you were not created for medium results. I'm guessing that the passion, the fire that's been placed in your belly is not there to create medium results. Your passion that's been placed inside of you has been placed inside of you to get incredible results. So it's really time. It's time for us to stop playing peekaboo online. It's time for us to stop playing peekaboo with our network. It is really time to stop being the best kept secret in town. And if you really think about it, it's so subtle, right? This vow of invisibility, all of these self-doubts, think about it. Besides being visible online, visible in your business, what other areas in your life have you been playing small or hiding? Where else has this vow of invisibility just stopped you in your tracks? So we've got to break this. We have to break this vow of invisibility. And when I first did the exercise that we did, the visualization, when I first did it, I felt like I was shrinking. I felt like I could just shrink into the floor, just fold and dissolve into a puddle in the floor. And I immediately left my body and went straight up in my head and outside of my head, right? Almost as if I was watching myself say that I'm awesome and I deserve as an outer body experience. And I felt it. I felt it everywhere. I felt it in my shoulders. I felt it in my neck. I felt it in my heart. I felt it in my belly. very much like when my first life coach asked me to do a periscope. But by the time I did this exercise, I learned how to clear those feelings. I learned how to clear them. So that was what was really going on for me. And you saw what's really going on for you. And I wanted you to see it. I wanted to shine this light of clarity on it for two reasons. One, so you can have some compassion for not being more courageous in the past. And two, to assure you that we can clear it. Here's another thing I want you to write down. Thinking about these self-doubts and this vow of invisibility and playing small, write this down. This has been happening inside of me for blank years. How many years has this been happening inside of you? And what else has it cost you? Just imagining yourself shining in this energy of, I am awesome. What else has it cost you? Write it down. This has cost me what? Has it cost you? We know it's cost money. Has it cost you relationships? Has it cost you promotions? What else has it cost you? It's subtle. Write it down. I assure you, it's probably been affecting more areas in your life than just your business. Also write down, if I could solve these inner problems easily, I would. Write down what you would do. If you could solve this easily, what would you be doing? How would you be showing up? Okay. I want to honor all of you today because what we just walked through was some real serious consciousness clarity. And this process and all of my processes are set up so that you can receive the clarity and then clear everything that you've uncovered. It's my passion. It's why I do this work. Because I really care, because I've walked through it. And what I've done is I've created an unbelievable solution based on how I was able to shatter my vow of invisibility. And this is a system that's designed to get you from where you are now to where you want to be. It's called the Visibility Vixen Success System, and it's an intensive online program where in 6 weeks, we blast this out. So now that you have the clarity on the cost of self-doubt and you have the clarity on your own personal vow of invisibility, I invite you to reach out to me. You can reach me at my email address, which is Keisha@awellexperience.me. That's .m as in money, E as in Elizabeth, .me. And let's chat about your vow of invisibility and what the cost of self-doubt has been for you. I really do want to help you. And the next round of the Visibility Vixen Success System starts on August 12th. It's 6 weeks. It's a 6-week intensive that helps you, where I guide you to knock this vow of invisibility out. I thank you so much for joining me on What About Me today. It is always an honor and a pleasure to be here with you every single week as we shine the light of consciousness on those things that are holding you back from the life of your desires, the life of your dreams. I'm Keisha Dixon, the Tapping Queen, creator of the Monetize Your Mind Success System and the Visibility Vixen Success System. I guide women to shatter their internal glass ceiling as they increase their income doing what they love. Join me here next Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern. I am going to be interviewing a phenomenal woman whose name also happens to be Keisha Dixon. And you're not going to want to miss this interview. It is absolutely phenomenal. She is a veteran who is an advocate for children's safety, and you're going to want to hear her story. It is a phenomenal story of transformation. I'm Keisha Dixon. Have a great week, everyone.